Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Life of Us, and we are plowing through all of the custom builds for the Dungeons and Dragons adventure board games. And in today's segment, we have got a very special class. We've got the Human Shifter class, um, and very different class in the way the mechanic works as well. Uses a new keyword called perched, which you might have seen if you looked and had a look through the Human Vigilante class, the Batman type class which I did previously. This one has a similar mechanic, plays a little differently, but without further ado, let's hop right in and see what she's all about. So, introducing Zoya, our human shifter. After spending years in the servitude of the Church of Horus, the devoted disciple Zoya was gifted with the Saqar, the manifestation of a hawk in human form. Gifted with speed, agility, and deadly claws, Zoya is oathsworn to shift the balance back to the light. Very nice backstory for her character, Egyptian-inspired Church of Horus, as you can see from her character design as well. Her AC and stats, more in line with sort of a wizard type build, fairly low HP, fairly low AC, but a very high speed, and we'll see why the speed is so important in a few seconds. The mini that I used is from the Pathfinder series as well as the artwork, but if you can't find this particular mini or struggling to find it, then any mini that seems sort of shifter-ish or hawkish I suppose would do. Her base ability is called Perched, and there's a lot of text going on here, so let's step through it and look at what it entails. Perched, we might have dealt with this particular ability in a previous build I did for the Human Vigilante class, as I said, but in this case the mechanic plays slightly differently. So use at the end of your hero phase, spend 4 movement points to place your hero on any wall adjacent to your tile. So if you've got movement points left at the end of your hero phase, you can spend 4 of them to perch your character on any wall adjacent to your tile. Hence the high speed value, because you want to actually try to keep movement points available for her to perch. And the benefits of perching is that until the next hero phase, or the start of the next hero phase, she cannot be targeted by any adjacent attacks from monsters. Ranged attacks and encounters or traps may still target you. So that's a really cool ability. During your next hero phase, you may move your hero onto any square on your tile, and unless otherwise stated, you may not explore or attack while perched. So there are cards that could override that restriction, as we'll see. If your hero is attacked while perched, you are immediately grounded to the nearest square on your tile, and LOS, meaning line of sight, is a dependency for perch. So monsters attacking you still need to use line of sight to be able to attack you. Likewise, any attacks you make while perched require line of sight, and there are abilities and cards, as we'll see, that enable that. In terms of her powers, she's got 2 at-wills that you can choose from, 2 utilities, and 1 daily power. So those are all the standard sort of stats, and that's her ability of perched. Let's have a look at the next set of cards. So I've included the levels 2, 3, and 4. Levels 3 and 4 obviously unlocking more of the expert powers, but at a cost of XP and gold. Let's have a look at her actual power cards now. Her first at-will powers. Okay, so she's got 3 at-will powers that you can choose from. The first one is called Razor. Razor says attack 1 adjacent monster. If this attack is made after perching, this attack gains +2. So that's a really useful reason to perch your character, because immediately after you perch at the start of your next hero phase, your Razor attack is a +9, dealing 1 damage as opposed to +7. Then we've got Dive. Dive says may only be used if your hero is currently perched. Move your hero out of a perch state and attack 1 monster up to 2 tiles away. It's a +7, doing 1 damage and dazed. So you can only use that if your hero is currently perched. Then we've got Screech. Screech has got 2 attack boxes, one for grounded attack. That is if you're on the ground, you attack 1 monster within 2 tiles, +6, doing 1 damage. And then a perched attack. Attack 1 monster within one tile. So you can actually attack while perched. In this case, it's a +8, doing 1 damage. So the important thing to realize is that while your hero is perched, you can choose not to come down from your perch and remain perched for a bit. Obviously, there are restrictions to that, because if you perch, you might not be able to explore, which leads to encounters and all sorts of nasty things happening in the dungeon, but there are benefits to remaining perched, such as being able to dive or being able to screech and deal out, uh, well, and have a higher attack value and deal out some damage. Onto her daily powers now. So she's got 4 of them here. The first one is Venom Beak. Venom Beak is attack up to 3 monsters on your tile. It's a plus 11 doing 1 damage to each monster, but also poisoning them because the beak is dipped in some venom as she strikes them. Then we've also got the Claw. The claw is attack 1 adjacent monster. If this attack is made after perching, it deals plus 1 damage. So that's very useful. And another reason to want to be perched is that you can deal out more damage. Plus 9 doing 3 or 4 on a perch and a miss on 1 damage. We've got Murmuration. Murmuration says place 4 steel beak tokens on your tile. Then instead of moving, you may move the steel beak tokens. 2 movement points equals 1 tile. At the end of your hero phase, any monster adjacent to a steel beak token takes 1 damage. Remove the token after. Okay, so fairly trappish type standard dailies for wizard type class, I suppose. Then we've got Stoop. Stoop says may only be used if your hero is currently perched. Move your hero out of a perch state and attack 2 monsters up to 2 tiles away. Both monsters must be on the same tile. On a hit, the monsters are dazed. That's a good way to get rid of 2 rather annoying monsters, that trolls or those higher level type monsters that just don't seem to drop. Really cool power there. Okay, onto her utility powers. There's a few of them to get through. The first one is called Circling. Use only if your hero is perch. You may perch between tiles at a cost of 2 movement points per tile. And you can flip this card over after use. So that's very useful. So if you needed, that would give you, with a speed of 8, you could move up to 4 tiles in one go and then flip that card over. So that's a good way to get around the dungeon and then use the perch ability to actually move quickly around the dungeon and then explore. We've got Nesting. Nesting says use only if your hero is perched. Use at the start of your hero phase. Forfeit your attack phase and regain 1 HP. So important thing to note is that that tile doesn't get flipped over, so you can always go nesting. I wonder how many eggs she actually would have if she nests so often. That just probably didn't sound as good as I wanted it to sound. Okay, but it's a good way to get HP back. Then we've got Eye of Horus, used during exploration phase. Your keen eyesight allows you to explore a tile up to 1 tile away or up to 2 tiles away if your hero is perched. And flip that over after use. That's also very useful. So you can actually explore while perched using the Eye of Horus. Then continuing with the utility powers, we've got the Blessing of Horus. Blessing of Horus says place 3 HP tokens on the Blessing of Horus. Remove a token and gain a +2 to all perched attacks this turn. So that definitely ups your ante in terms of attack. Sharp Reflexes also says place 2 HP tokens on this card. Remove an HP token to evade any ranged attack on your hero. So that's also very useful. If a hero was attacking you, remove an HP token and you can stay perched and just evade that attack. Underwing says spend 6 movement points to perch your hero plus 1 adjacent hero. So of your 8 movement points, you can spend 6 of them to perch yourself and a buddy along. You can't make any attacks while another hero is perched alongside you. Ground yourself and the tag along hero at the start of your next hero phase. That's a good way to help a hero out who is definitely in dire need of being perched. And also maybe just wants a good view. Let's hop on and have a look at her expert power. First expert power is called Hunter. All attacks made after perching deal +1 damage, and that doesn't get flipped over, so that stays with you at the expert level. We've got Shred. At attack 1 adjacent monster. If this attack is made after perching, it now deals a +2 damage. That's 13, 4 damage, but up to 6 if you're doing the attack after perching. And then we've got the Guidance of Horus, which says place 3 HP tokens on Guidance of Horus. Remove a token and you may perch between tiles at a cost of 2 movement points per tile. So very similar to the utility card that we saw, which allowed you to move. This one just gives you a little bit more of that, with 3 HP tokens allowing you to fly around the map a lot more quicker. And there we have it. That is our human shifter Zoya. Those are steel beak tokens will be on the right hand side, and the daily power artwork and some more artwork if you like. Have fun playing with this character, see how she spins, and sign up with my comments on my blog. Let me know what you think. That's all for today, folks. Thanks. Bye bye.